All right, we're live. Hey guys, welcome to Whiskey, Wine, and Writing. I'm your host, Natasha.
Hi, and I'm your other host, Nikki, and today our special guest is Samantha Fountain, the founder of WriterPitch.com, and we have a great special Life After Pitch Madness show today because we know that everyone's excited about the contest, but not everyone can get in, but there's tons of opportunities available for writers and querying, and we're going to talk about all of that, including the opportunities with WriterPitch.com. Before we get started, we just wanted to introduce ourselves because I know we have a lot of new viewers. But I'm Nikki. I'm a young adult contemporary author represented by Carrie Howland of the Donadio and Olson Literary Agency, which Tasha had to teach me how to say, and I really appreciate that. and here's Tasha.
Hey guys, I'm Natasha Rollerson. I am an adult contemporary romance author. I am represented by Laura Bradford of the Bradford Literary Agency, and yeah, I knew how to say that. So.
And this is Samantha Fountain. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm Samantha Fountain. I'm a young adult writer. I just hosted Agent Match on Twitter, which went really well, and it kind of spawned the love child WriterPitch.com, so that's what's going on.
Excellent. Lane, two of our regular viewers, Lane is here, and so is E.L. Wicker, who's my critique partner, Walrus Writers Unite. So hi guys, thanks for being here again.
And we are going to give away a special prize. We're giving away special prizes throughout the next couple of days. If you go to whiskeywineWriting.com and enter our Rafflecopter, we have query critiques by Tasha and me, and we're going to give one away live tonight by Jen Blackwood, the author we had on Monday. So stay tuned because we will tell you how to win that. And Samantha will also be giving away some entries to the Writer Pitch Lunch, which is also going to be on Monday.
And we're also going to be giving away 5 of Jen's books, Foolproof, which is the second in her series. I believe you can still get Unethical, which is the first one in the series, free on Amazon at the moment. So go ahead over to Amazon, get the first one free, and possibly win one of 5 copies of Foolproof, which is the second one we're giving away.
So the reason we're so excited to have Samantha on is because at the same time as Pitch Madness things are being announced on Monday, she's launching this brand new site, which has been buzzing around, and I know a lot of people have had questions. So how about, before we get into the questions that we've gotten from some of our viewers beforehand, which people, if you want to ask questions, just tweet it to us or come into the Hangout. Our hashtag is WWWriting. But how about you tell us a little bit about WriterPitch.com and how it's going to work?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, you guys know the writing community is the most amazing community ever. So I just wanted to do something that would be another stepping stone for people to maybe utilize to get an agent. So writers, they can make profiles, and these profiles will have their image, it will have information about their pitch, and also the first 250 words of their manuscript. And agents can go through profiles, read the pitch, and if they like the pitch, they can click on a button to read the first 250. And that's only viewable by agents as well, the first 250. And then if they like that, they can hit a button that requests more material from that writer. And also, writers can search with filters to see what agents are maybe looking for their type of work, and then send them their queries. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So some of the questions, Tasha, did you want to kick off the questions that we've got?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So one of the first questions that's being asked is, how is this going to attract agents to the site? Are there requirements that it's not just another slush pile? Like, what is going to bring the agents in?
Absolutely. So, well, after Agent Match, I created some relationships with agents, so I got most of them to join in the Writer Pitch launch, along with some other agents. Some agents aren't going to do it because they get a lot of queries anyways, but there are a lot of excited agents to try this out. As far as the pitches that come in, we'll vet them we'll read through them and make sure that it's something that we can put up on the site. And then after that, it's going to be kind of like a community involvement. The agents will have a button that they can push that will tell them if it's not something that they think is ready to be pitched. And if this happens more than 5 times, then we're going to have to send the writer an email stating that they might need to work on this, but after they're done, they can resubmit it. So we'll try to not make it too much of a slush pile.
Who are going to be vetting the entries? Is it going to be you? Do you have any interns? How is that going to work?
Yep, it's going to be me and a few people that have been working on the site. So it's going to be like a light vet that we do, and then the rest of it will be what the agents think.
Okay, that's awesome. I mean, do you have like a certain amount of agents so far who have said they'll do this, like a roundabout number, so people know?
Yeah. So far for the launch, we have 18, and there's been a lot of agents that have emailed me also saying that they'll make their own profile after we launch. So, but we'll start off with 18.
Okay.
Another question we have is why photos? Humans are wired to make snap judgments about characters and intelligence based on images. So won't that be distracting and affect the way agents see the writing?
Yeah, so I mean, it might be something that we change in the future. It will just constantly be evolving. But for right now, we thought it added a certain air of professionalism to it. So, but we might change it so they can put whatever profile picture they want in. If they want a cup of wine as their profile, so be it. But for now, that's what we're doing.
That's cool. My agent, actually, her profile picture is a high heel shoe, so I totally understand that one. Now that's nasty. So I think, aren't there 2 places to put a picture on the profiles?
Yeah, so also with pitches that are popular, that will be changing every day at noon, and they'll be on the homepage of our website. Though the pictures that are shown there is their picture plus the picture that they feel gives the ambiance of their manuscript. So yeah, so there'll be lots of different photos up.
Cool.
Awesome. Guys, I do want to remind you, for any of you watching, if you do have your own questions about Write Pitch or any other questions for us in general, if you join us on Google Hangouts Live, which the link is on the website, you can ask right live here on our Q&A panel, or you can go ahead and go on Twitter and use our hashtag, not our @. I mean, feel free to use our @, but we're going to be able to see it better if you use our hashtag WWWriting. We can get the questions right on air and answer them for you.
Another question that was submitted to us before the show was, what research did you do on other contests before starting this one?
I didn't really do too much research on other contests. I have participated in different Twitter contests, but as far as writer pitch, it was kind of just, it evolved. My brother, who's a web developer, and we were talking, and he's like, well, what do agents look for? And we just kind of started building from that. What do writers really want? And I just think it's kind of a fresh idea, and I hope that it speaks for itself. So.
Okay, very cool. Another question about the agents, are you guys going to also vet the agents and editors who may want to look at this to make sure they're legitimate agents and editors, so you're not getting, you know, somebody not reputable with custom materials?
Yes. So we definitely will be doing some research on the agents that put up their profiles. See what's being said online. But other than that, there will be also a button that writers and agents can push that would notify us that maybe this agent isn't there for the right reasons. And if that happens, just one click on that button, we would be doing research into that agent, and the profile would be deleted if it had to be.
And as a fellow author, we didn't mention that, but Samantha has, you know, her own book series that she's been working on. But as, you know, writers, we're always worried about the schmagents, and there's some new writers, you know, just now dipping their toes into the contest world. What would you define as a schmagent, and what would be the key things to look out for?
You know, I guess for me, I had signed actually with someone a few years ago, and I was really new and talked to her on the phone, and everything sounded legit, but her website wasn't really up to par, and I was just really, really excited. And I signed with her, and she ended up closing like the door a month later, and it took me a long time to get my manuscript back from her and stuff. So, I mean, it's not always important for an agent to have web presence, but that's something that I look for. And also just doing the research, seeing if they've had book sales recently or what they're doing in the industry.
In regards to that, 2 websites that you guys can check out for agents is Publishers Marketplace and Query Tracker. They both have lots of information on agents, and if they're part of the oh my gosh, what is that company that a lot of the agents are a part of? Authors representation, something, I forget what it's called, I'm so sorry. It blanked, but it lets you know what organizations they're a part of. Publishers Marketplace tends to show sales and things like that. So you'll get a lot of information, especially from those 2 sites regarding agents.
And also Absolute Right is a good free one too.
Yes, I like that one. Yep.
Yes, that is another great one. Generally, because they have so many forums in there, what I do is I'll put in the agent's name in Google and then put Absolute Right, and you'll usually get the thread right there as the first reply in Google.
Yep, I do that too.
So it's usually a lot easier than trying to navigate the site for it if you're looking for a specific agent. Now, if you're just wanting to look through it all, then I would go to their site. But if you're just looking for one specific, Google's your friend.
Our next question is, how often do you expect / hope agents will check into this?
I'm sorry, it cut out a little bit right there.
It is, how often do you expect / hope agents will check on the site?
Yeah, I have no idea right now about that. The launch will really be the telltale. I know all the agents will go there the first day for sure, but it's something that people can log in and out of whenever they want.
Regarding the people who are putting their pitches on there, their profiles, the writers, do these have to be full, complete manuscripts?
Yes, they need to be polished. That's what, just like if you were querying an agent, they want it to be polished material. So.
Okay, so you're not allowing incomplete, I shouldn't say incomplete,
nope.
Work in progress manuscripts.
No.
Okay.
We are getting some Twitter questions. Thanks, guys. It's nice to see you all watching. Barbara Underhill at TwinB10 says, "Hi, Sam and everyone. Thanks for doing this. Do you see Writer Pitch as something ongoing and growing indefinitely?"
Hi, Barbara. I see you a lot on Twitter. She's my friend. I hope that that's what is going to happen with Writer Pitch. I hope it's something that agents and writers will use as another tool in this industry. So I can only hope.
Awesome. And then we have, which, by the way, guys, if you're just tuning in and you have a question about Writer Pitch or anything else that we're going to talk about tonight, feel free to ask us with the hashtag WWWriting on Twitter, or go to our website, whiskeyWineWriting.com, get on the Google Hangout and ask inside the chat room there. But our next question is from Julie Cavney, I hope I said that right, at Cave Woman, which is a great Twitter handle, thank you. I'm not published yet. What do you suspect I do to freshen up my social media sites, Facebook, blogs, Tumblr, etc.?
I'm not sure what you mean by freshen up. I mean, if you have them, I would use them. Utilize them. Try to give a schedule for your blog. I mean, you don't have to do it every day, but if you want to do it once a week or once a month, don't talk about if you're querying and you're getting rejections and stuff like that. Don't talk about that stuff. Talk about other aspects of the writing world. Give pointers, or maybe, talk about your personal struggles from writing, stuff like that. Don't put any stats up there of how many times you've been rejected or anything like that. As for your Twitter, look out for the main hashtags, MSWL, manuscript wishlist, pub tips, write tips, am writing, stuff like that.
Querying is kind of like Fight Club. You're not going to want to talk about it. Because, agents might see that and be like, why didn't you query me first? Obviously you've been out a while. Why did they reject yours? So it's better just to keep one to the word, but it's okay to start building your platform based off your writing process and engaging with the writing community and reading books you should always be reading and writing about the books you're reading and really just making a presence for yourself. Do you have an opinion about that, Sam?
Yeah, well, as far as social media goes, I think it's important to, keep up on your blog for one thing, but focus mainly on one of the social media aspects, like Twitter or Facebook. I've just heard that it's best to focus on one more than focusing on all of them.
Well, one great thing is that like my WordPress and a lot of my Twitter goes straight to my Facebook author page. I have it linked there, so when I post on Twitter, it goes directly there. So if somebody's on Facebook but doesn't do Twitter, at least it's going there. They can see it on my author page. So you definitely want to also link up all your social media so that it's easier for you. You post one and it goes to the majority.
Now, that's a cool feature, but I don't know if that's necessarily right for everyone, because sometimes you have the same people following you on Twitter and Facebook, and so sometimes your audience on Facebook, though, could be different than your Twitter audience.
Oh, yeah, I mean, don't necessarily neglect one for the other, but, you know, it is helpful, at least for me, and like she said, it's not for everybody. For me, I find it helpful to link them all up, and then I try to utilize them each independently as well.
I think the trick to social media is, you know, growing with it and finding what works for you. What works for me won't work for everyone. What works for Tasha won't work for everyone. It's really finding your groove and making it your own. If you followed a formula, and if everyone followed the same social media formula, it just would be boring. No one would care about social media. Let's be honest.
No, they probably would not. Also, one of the questions on Twitter was if we're answering questions on the blog. I'm sorry, I didn't know we had questions on the blog. I'm going there
now. Let's see. Do we have another one? And we have yes. That was the one that you just read. Thanks, Tasha.
Oh, sorry, no, but I don't see.
I'm glad you caught that. I thought it was
I'm sorry. Let's see.
Which we said it before. If you are interested in PitMad coming up, or even just pitches in general. Because, I mean, Samantha's going to be reading pitches as well. I was in Pitch War, so I had a 50-word pitch, and Tasha got her agent with PitMad. If you're interested in having your stakes looked at or your pitch looked at or PitMad tweet looked at, we're willing to critique it live tonight. We've done that in previous shows, and we're happy to do that too. Oh, we just got a question from Meredith Hodges-Booz. If we were part of other recent Twitter contests, are we allowed to try for www.writerpitch.com?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you haven't got an agent yet, definitely come on by.
We also have a little comment / question from a Suitor Clark here on the blog. She says, I have a question for you wonderful people. My novel has two main characters, and time with each is divided quite evenly. One is 17 years old, the other is 70 years old. Think similar to Water for Elephants. I've been classifying this as an adult novel, but if my PitMad query only mentions the 17-year-old, will that genre classification, will that prevent an agent from picking it up? Here's an example of my planned PitMad tweets, which, cool, here's our first PitMad to critique. 17-year-old Jake uncovers a human experimentation project when he befriends an escaped patient. He must help her disappear for good. I think considering the fact that you have the hashtag A there is good, it lets them know that it's adult. Just because there's a 17-year-old in it, they're not going to necessarily, classify it as YA unless you let them know it's YA. There can be adult manuscripts with the younger characters in it.
Did she say it was divided 50-50 between?
Yeah, it's a dual point of view between the 17-year-old and the 70-year-old.
He sounds pretty important, the 70-year-old, though. I just wonder if there's a way to get him into the pitch.
I mean, I agree. It sounds like you're only giving like half of the story here, and the thing about the pitch is you're trying to encompass the main meat of your story into the pitch. So if the main story is the 17-year-old, yeah, go for that. But if it's the 70-year-old, then, or is like this the same person? That's what we don't know.
Is it important that he's 17 years old, especially if he's not in a young adult novel? If that's not a huge plot point for your stakes or anything, since it's adult, I would say maybe leave that out to have more characters too.
Yeah. So, you can be like Jake uncovers a human experimentation project when he befriends an escaped patient. I don't know that you need to say that when he befriends an escaped patient. It's just enough that he uncovers a human experimentation project. And I don't know who her is. He must help her disappear for good. So I don't know who that is. That would need to be more specific. So I kind of like the beginning where it's like Jake uncovers a human experimentation project. Bam, love it. I think the second half needs work.
Another thing too that might be interesting, and when you do PitMad type things, it's fine to have multiple tweets. Some agents really love dual point of view right now, and I think maybe it could be worthwhile to have a tweet just about the dual point of view. Maybe just try your luck. Sometimes it's hit or miss with that.
So.
Right. And also comparisons, those have been doing really good in tweeting contests. The Water for Elephants comparison, I'm a big fan of that book, so that would get me.
Is that's a really long title for a Twitter pitch.
Right. That's true.
So,
that's why
you eat up like half the characters.
And sometimes that's why the other types of tweets, like we always focus on usually, the stakes and this must happen or that will happen, because those tweets work the best. But sometimes if you want to, change it up a bit, I think it's fine to see what works best. My agent saw my comp titles, and that's what sold her on my pitch originally, which that might have not fit in a tweet because I didn't do a tweet contest. But mine was Freaks and Geeks Meet Saved. There's no way I would have been able to tweet the plot of my book plus that. So definitely have fun with it.
So we have a few more questions going on, and then Lane has also given us her Twitter pitch. But let's get to the questions first. E.L. Wicker says, "Hi, Samantha. How do you plan to drive a large amount of agents to your site and keep them there? I can imagine that there will be a great deal of writers that participate. So is it possible that there will be a massive difference in writer-agent numbers?"
Well, I think that there will be a difference in the agent-writer number. I mean, I do believe writers do outnumber agents, but I will be, once the website does get up and going and we start having traffic, I'll be sending out link information to different agents and stuff. So I hope to start to drive the agents towards the website, and I don't foresee too big of a problem in doing that. So.
We got another critique tweet on Twitter, and it says, it's from Shauna Bailey at Sycamore Meadows, and it's teen sleuths with superpowers go on a journey through their town to discover its secrets and find missing children. And that's on our hashtag WW Writing. Actually, no, that's on Writer Pitch if you want to check that out to see it yourself, guys. Shauna, I think my main thing is we don't know what's at stake. I think it's really cool that you're setting up teen sleuths with superpowers and they're going on this journey and they find the missing children. But discovering secrets is a little too vague to let me know what's unique about your book.
Yeah, secrets is very generic. Words like secret, mysterious, those are very vague. They're very overdone in pitches and in queries. Be specific. Try to get rid of those words and put something better, something stronger in there that's going to tell them exactly what it is. I mean, I know you generally don't want to give away your book, but to agents you kind of do. You want to let them know the stakes and what's going on. So, I'm sorry, we missed one. KJ Folk, 11 minutes ago, sorry, at KJ_Folk said, wondering if there are any apps available for the Get an Agent button. If not, we'll get it to work on one for my keyboard. I guess he's asking if it's going to be available in app format. Like, are you going to take the website and make an app for it?
Oh, for Writer Pitch. I'm not so sure about the app, but I can actually message someone and ask that right now and get back to you on that. But with the launch coming so soon, we only have it really formatted for like laptops and stuff. But it will be available on phones. But let me see if we're gonna have.
Okay, so you're gonna have a mobile site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, cool. So while she's doing that, Lane says, Zoe met the girl of her dreams. If she can get past the furring fangs. When a classmate discovers them, Beauty must cave to his demands to keep a beast off a lab table. That seems kind of long for a Twitter pitch.
Well, that we did say it could be for other pitches like Writer Pitch or...
Oh. Well, yeah, but if it's for that, let us know.
That's
yeah,
true.
I've got a -31. I kind of figured this was for PitMad coming up. So, Lane, let us know what that's for so we can help you with that. It helps so we know what it's for. Oh, she says, that one was too long. Here's the Twitter version. Sorry. Okay, so Zoe's met the girl of her dreams. If she can get past the fur and fangs, Beauty must meet a bully's. Sorry, I got a pop-up email. Beauty must meet a bully's demands to keep her beast safe. So, and that leaves you 10. So can you add the PitMad hashtag, which leaves you 1? Okay, so you can get the PitMad hashtag in it. So I would probably take out the M dash you have there. I don't really think you did it, or need it, and you'll save characters.
Because you do want to identify your genre if possible.
I mean, obviously with Beauty and the Beast, you can tell it's a retelling.
Like it's wrong age category. I think sometimes because it could be an adult retelling or a young adult retelling or a middle grade retelling.
Yeah, that's true too. So we don't know what age range this is either.
Joshi, Napa, I am so sorry if I'm butchering names. Please don't hate me, everyone. Asks, is there any market for short story collections? Any agents who take on such stuff? I have to say, I actually don't have much knowledge of that. My background is predominantly journalism, and then I was a playwright, and now I just broke into young adult novel writing. But I've heard that agents do short stories, but I think it's mainly anthologies, and you have to I'm not sure how that works. Does either of you guys know?
No, I don't. I'm not knowledgeable on the short story. I know I've seen, like you said, anthologies or books for certain genres. Like I've seen a lot of urban fantasy authors who will write one short story within a book, and they'll have a theme for that book and things like that. I think I'm sure there is, but you would have to do your research to find out where to go for it.
Actually, that makes me think of, for MSWL, Manuscript Wishlist, which is a hashtag and also a website. Fantastic. I highly recommend you guys go check that out. There was an agent recently who was looking for middle grade short story collections that linked together, but were individual short stories.
Oh, very cool.
Random tidbit. I don't know if you write middle grade, but go look that up, people.
I have an answer for the app, by the way.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so there's no need for an app because the site is responsive. It works on phones and tablets anyways.
Okay, very cool. Nikki, I'm sorry, I might have missed this. Did you get Tasha Livingstone's question on Twitter?
No, I didn't. Do you want to ask?
Okay, sure. Hi, Tasha. We share the same name, so glad. At Tasha Livings, she asks, will we be able to edit our writer pitch profiles after the launch, or can edits only take place if agents suggest for rewrites?
Yep, your profile is totally yours, so you'll be able to edit whatever you need to on it. And whenever.
And then Vanessa Kelly, at Vanessa F. Kelly, she says, are only 100% polished manuscripts allowed on the site? Or yeah, Vanessa, I think we answered this. You said you are only accepting fully 100% polished manuscripts, correct? Yes. Yeah, they're not taking pitches for future stories, and I think that's basically because, especially as a debut writer, no agent is going to just pick you up off of an idea, or if they do, it's going to be a very rare fluke thing that I wouldn't necessarily rely on because they don't know you from anybody, and if you're going to be reliable to finish that story. Not saying you wouldn't be, but I'm saying that is something they have to think of as agents.
We got another Twitter pitch from, I'm sorry, I'm bad at your names, Poirier Pages, or it could be French, Poirier, but it says, Asher's girlfriend is dead. He's convicted for murder. She's not the last person he'll see die. Is he a killer or is he next?
Where is this at? Which hashtag?
This is under the hashtag WWWriting.
Alright, I gotta find this one. Hold on. I'm looking. Is this Poirier Pages, you said?
Yes.
Okay, I see it. I think you can tighten it up because you're condensing GF, and I know Brenda, who does like the PitMad competition, has said it before. You kind of want to keep it professional and try not to use abbreviations if you don't have to. So you could possibly say Asher's love is dead if you want to save some letters or something like that. And then you don't need he. You can say, you know, Asher's girlfriend is murdered and he's convicted for the crime. You know, kind of make that one tight sentence as opposed to two.
I guess I'm not. I'm not getting the stakes either here because is he the killer or is he next? I like the suspense there.
Asking questions. No, don't do that. It's generally not good.
So if you could ever rephrase a rhetorical question, that's usually the way to go. My question would be, is it important that it was his girlfriend? Could you just say Asher is convicted for murder and this is what will be happening if X, Y, and Z happens? I think maybe that could help you tighten it up if you leave off that little bit of a detail.
I agree because you can also, if you get a favorite, that'll be obviously in the query if it's really important. So as long as you're saying, you know, he's convicted for her murder, is he convicted? That would already mean he's in jail. So at that point, wouldn't the killer have to come to jail? So is he actually already convicted, or is he on trial for her murder? So you know, I'm a little confused in that, and how the killer would get to him in jail. So you might want to just clarify on that a little bit.
We also have a question that's not a pitch. It's from E.G. Moore at E.G. Moore Writer, and she asks, with a literary novel pitch, should I focus more on the internal struggle or the external fear?
This is actually also good for right pitch, since they're only. How long are their pitches allowed to be, by the way, for a right pitch? That's a good question.
Their pitch is. I'm forgetting it's 3 paragraphs actually. The pitch, so it's longer.
Okay, so it's kind of like
query.
Like, do you have a word count? Like, is this like query length? That
yeah. Yep.
Okay, so I would say, E.J. Moore, that you should focus on the main plot, whatever that might be. If the main plot is an internal struggle, put that in there and put the stakes of it. What happens if they don't face it? What happens if they do? Same thing with an external fear, whatever the external thing, whatever the main plot is, go from there.
I totally agree. For sure. Okay, I just got one from my CP. And it's just a statement, but I'll read it. She said, haha, Nikki Roberti is always on me about rephrasing her rhetorical questions. I'm awful about having them in my first drafts. I'm not going to lie, I hate rhetorical questions, and she has seen it because I'm always like, delete it, delete it, delete it. And honestly, I used to be a big an offender of that. And I don't say rule because there are no real concrete rules in writing. I mean, there are some foundational rules, but really, I mean, it's a fluid process, but I just remember in Pitch Wars when my mentor and I were combing through my first 250 words, the first part was very cerebral, like inside my main character's head, and she was like, you have way too many rhetorical questions in here. The reader is already exhausted trying to answer the questions. Why don't you just tell her or show what she's feeling rather than asking the reader who doesn't know your character yet what they should be thinking or feeling. And I'm like, that makes so much sense, and I sliced it down, and it was like the best I've ever seen my 250 words. I only cried once during it, so you know it's a great process, guys.
Yeah, and Nikki's book is just amazing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I've read it like 30 times at this point, so I just absolutely love it. It's great, guys. Also, our streams are moving pretty fast, both on the Q&A and the hashtags. So if we do miss your pitch, just feel free to tweet it again, and we'll see it at some point. I promise. We're going to do our best to get to all of them. And if you are kind of retweeting one that we've already done and you've improved upon it, don't take offense if we don't get to it right away. We're going to try to get to the people that we haven't been able to give feedback to first.
We actually have, I think this is a great question. It's a new viewer who just hopped on. It's Tamara D. Walsh at Tamara D. Walsh. And she said, missed the first half of this because I was writing and lost track of time. Happens to all of us. Did I miss anything super important? Whiskey, Wine, and Writing is always important. But why don't you give us a brief rundown again about writerpitch.com and just to catch some people up?
Yep.
Yeah. So writers and agents are going to be able to create profiles. Writers will be able to pitch their manuscripts, and agents will be able to look through the pitches and read the first 250 words and see if they want to request the rest of it. So.
Okay. Awesome. So, and she said that there are already 18 agents signed up to check out these pitches, and I think you are taking early sign-ups for the launch?
for the launch so that we have some actual content on when we go live. And we're going to do some Twitter contests to get some more pitches in if you guys want to do that now.
You can give away some right now. How do you want to do it this first?
Okay, let me see. I think we'll go to #WriterPitch, and I'm going to tweet something right now, and it gives the instructions. So here I go.
To everyone who's watching, go to Writer Pitch to see if you want to be included in the launch and get your pitch on there. Follow the instructions and see where it goes. Also, for those who just joined us, we're also doing live pitch critiques, mainly Twitter pitches for PitMad because that's coming up on the 11th, and that's what a lot of Pitch Madness people like to do after Pitch Madness. It's a very awesome event. Tasha got her agent through that. One of my agent sisters got our agent through that as well. So if we don't see your pitch right away, we're going to try to get as many as we can in the next, 30 minutes. Wow, time is flying, guys.
Yeah, she says 30 minutes, and half the time we wind up going over on shows like this, and she knows.
I mean, we're always going to stick around a little longer if you need it, guys.
But, I mean, like, here's an example of PitMad, sorry, and that is how I landed my agent. She favorited my tweet, Laura favorited my tweet, and I wound up sending her my query, and it kept going from there. So I put, falling in love with a man whose mother was murdered isn't easy, especially when Molly's father is the one who killed her.
Dum, dum, dum.
So,
that one, guys.
So Laura favored it, and then, like I said, it turned into a query, and it went from there. So, making sure it's tight and you're giving the stakes and everything like that in one tweet. It's really, really hard. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard. So, don't get discouraged. Just keep trying it. Make sure you have several variations, since I believe PitMad you can tweet twice an hour. And if I remember that correctly, it's twice an hour. But here's the thing. If you schedule your tweets, like if you use TweetDeck, and you put the hashtags in the same place, it's going to automatically bounce them thinking you're spamming. Make sure you change up your hashtags if you're
I don't even think it will let you tweet the same tweet anyways.
It will if you change the hashtags. Like if you do PitMad at the beginning and then your pitch and then you do like YA, it'll tweet it, and then if you switch the YA for the PitMad, it'll tweet it again.
Yeah.
But I would suggest using 2 different pitches per hour. Don't limit yourself to one because it's usually like a 12-hour event. That gives you plenty of wiggle room for multiple pitches.
And also, for those who are new to the contest world, the #1 rule is if you're not an agent, do not favorite a tweet. It's hard to resist because there's going to be a lot of great Twitter pitches and you want to support your fellow authors.
Mm-hmm.
Retweet it if you want to show your support. Do not favorite.
But do not favorite, like she said. That actually happened to me once. I was like, oh, wait, you're not an agent.
That's devastating. Yes.
Devastate your fellow
Don't get me wrong, like 30 seconds later that tweet was no longer favorited, so I think they probably meant to retweet it and accidentally hit the favorite because that can happen. And it was just like, aw.
I mean, there's enough rejection and disappointment in an author's life, especially at this stage. Don't add to it. We cry enough at home.
When Laura favorited your tweet and you saw it on the notifications, what kind of a happy dance did you do?
Oh my God, I was freaking out. I was actually IMing Nikki, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And oh wait, I think Nikki told me, because I think it was later, and I had, I was at school or something. You told me somebody favorited my tweet. Or maybe it was another agent, I don't remember, but I just remember going ecstatic, and I was talking to Nikki about it, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So it was amazing, and it's always amazing to have somebody to do the happy dance with, and I have my walruses, and this is why Em is posting. This is not her real Twitter pitch, but she goes, an evil gang of squirrels threatens to take over the world. 4 clever walruses across the globe must unite to defeat them.
Honestly,
we call ourselves the Walrus Riders. It's a long story. It's an inside joke. But yeah, we're the Walrus Riders, which you'll actually see in my vlog that I got to finish up after this. But
Well,
yeah.
they can be hot. Walruses can be hot.
Sometimes you'll just see our feeds just spam with walrus pictures and gifs, so you know we're a little crazy. And that's one thing people tend to forget about in writing is you need to have fun with it. You need to have CP partners that you can de-stress with and celebrate with and have a good time with for the good times and the bad times in the writing world. So that's definitely a good thing.
So I've actually a lot of people online that are older that are doing Twitter now. They just say, I don't know how we did it before without all these connections, these shoulders to lean on. So I am grateful for Twitter, the writing community.
I have an embarrassing Twitter story that happened to me during Pitch Wars that had to do with my agent and pitching, if anyone wants it. I have a lot of embarrassing story, guys.
Embarrassing story, please.
Yes. So, Pitch Wars, if you're not familiar with it, it's Brenda Drake's awesome contest at the later end of the year where you actually get a mentor for 2 months and you revise your entire manuscript before the showcase. So it's more involved than a lot of the other contests that usually go on. Well, when the showcase happened, a lot of writers were tweeting the links. Oh, I can't wait to read this book or that book. And I got a couple of those, so I kept being like, oh, thank you. Hopefully you get to read it soon. Well, I didn't realize it, but my mentor's friend tweeted about my book, and then all her agent sisters saw it and tweeted my book, and then their agent saw it and went, oh my gosh, I need to read this right now. And I went, oh, great, I hope you get to read it one day soon.
Oh my God.
And apparently she was like, what? I want her to send it to me now. Why isn't she sending it to me now? And it took me like a little while to realize, crap, that's an agent who actually wanted to read my book.
Oh my goodness, that's
It works out. We're friends now, and she's my agent.
Yeah, but you know, don't ever think anything is perfect, even in the writing world. So it's you know, flukes happen, and sometimes you just make an ass out of yourself. It happens. Laugh at yourself and have fun with it.
Oh, we got a costume. Where did that come from? We have a question. Mario Berliner. And it is excited to be a part of the launch. Will there be a button I can pin on my site?
Oh, to pin about the pitch that she has.
I think he means a button to promote the site. Like some people have badges or something they can put on the site. Like for NaNoWriMo, like I'm doing NaNoWriMo, they have the little icons they can put on their site.
There will be. Yep.
And awesome. That's cool. We're getting a little backed up on pitches. This one is from Joseph Miller. Avery must throw a flying monkey wrench into the Wicked Witch of the Midwest plans, or the world will become a dark fantasy land.
I like that one, actually.
I read that one and I liked it. Like I read it 10 minutes ago. So.
Yeah, I really like that. That's a lot of fun. That sounds really interesting. I would request pages for it. I would. I think that's really cool.
And that's a great example, guys, of stakes. We totally know what's happening and what will happen if the person doesn't succeed, and that is a fat, juicy stake for your pitch, man.
Absolutely. Sherry Howard says Zebediah needed to outsmart a robber and social services suits to avoid foster care. Fortunately, his ghost gives him clues. So the social services suits kind of threw me off a little. I don't know if it threw off anybody else. Like, it just seems a little choppy there. And I get that he's trying to avoid foster care, and I don't know, I don't quite know what the stakes are. Why is he trying to avoid foster care? What happens if he winds up back in foster care? Like, since he sees ghosts, are they trying to commit him? Something like that. Like, I want to know what's going on with Zeb, why he wants to stay out of foster care. I kind of feel like it's a little too generic.
What's the name? I can't find this one.
Sherry Howard, at Cher L. Howard.
Which hashtag is that?
Whiskey Wine Writing.
Oh, I did not see. Oh, I'm at the bottom of the list still from 11.
It's two above Joseph Miller's Avery Must Throw a Flying Monkey Wrench. By the way, Joseph Miller is the one that my cousin wound up making the avatar for when we did the avatar giveaways that one time.
Congratulations, Joseph Miller. I hope you like your avatar.
Yeah, he's two above, or Sherry's two above that. You have
it's
Joseph,
not two above mine.
Gigi, and then Sherry. So there's that one.
I think it's showing up differently for you.
Maybe.
Me too. But I agree with everything Tasha said, so that works out.
And then, let's see, Kelly Garcia at KD Garcia 22 says stolen SAT plus a computer whiz and bad boy expert in B&E equal perfectly wrong. Okay, this is all abbreviated and very hard to read, but wrong may be the only way to prove the right. I don't want to know all about his. I don't even know what B&E is.
I don't know what that is either.
I don't want to know about his like resume. I want to know what's going on in the story.
Let me tell you a little bit about acronyms, people. They are quite the dangerous beast, and if you can avoid them, do it. When I started a job right after college, my boss gave me this email with all these instructions, and at the end it said, and I'll F you later. She meant follow-up. I didn't do that. It was a very awkward conversation.
Not to mention the fact that a lot of acronyms have multiple meanings, so just be careful with that. Like, I was told once upon a time when I was working at a call center not to type LOL because some people don't take it as laugh out loud. Apparently they take it as lots of love. And I'm like, I've never heard it as lots of love before, but this is our training, so okay. So, you know, it just goes to show that you never know how people are going to take an acronym. So be careful using acronyms. Try to condense your Twitter pitch to use real words, not abbreviated anything. Use real words.
Yeah, so if you trim out that stuff, Kelly, I think you'll have more room to really get your stakes in there.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're close, though. I think that sounds interesting. I like this.
I'm assuming this is going into like a hacker world, but wrong may be the only way to prove they're right. But I don't know to prove they're right about what. So that's, I think, where your stakes need to come in. What are they trying to prove they're right about?
It might help if we knew what B&E meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because none of us do. So then we have Kenda Henthorn at Kenda Henthorn. She says, Katie longs for Hollywood stardom, but when her auditions are awful for a part in her parents' movie, Hollywood's a world away. I think it's are her parents the stars, or are they directing? That's kind of, it just makes it a little awkward for me.
And it's a little vague, because actually my first thought was, did I read this before? And not saying that your plot isn't unique, I think you could maybe put a little something extra in there to show us what is different about your stakes and what's important.
Yeah, like Katie isn't living up to her parents' expectations when she can't act as well as them. You know, I mean, that's kind of crappy, but it's showing us what her problem is and the pressure her parents are putting on her, something like that. So,
since we're closing in on the hour, though, I mean, and we probably will stay on longer because we have such a lineup. And Samantha, you were totally invited to stay on and do more of your contests if you want to too. But
Okay.
For those of you who might be like, oh, it's already an hour, I need to go feed my children or something. We're going to do a giveaway for a query critique by the amazing published author Jennifer Blackwood, who, if you didn't see it, was on our show on Monday, which usually our shows are on Monday. This is just the bonus show, so if you're interested in watching us on Monday, we'll still be here. But in addition to me and Tasha raffling off query critiques, she's going to do one. And to enter that one, all you got to do is go follow her on Twitter and then tweet, I followed at Jen is it _ Blackwood?
I believe so. I'm checking now.
Yeah. Jen _ Black. Well, if you go follow her, you can see what her Twitter
is. At JEN _Blackwood.
But make sure you tag us, hashtag WW Writing. Otherwise, me and Tasha can't see it because we don't get to run her Twitter. She keeps that private because that's what authors do, guys. Don't trust your Twitter handles with anyone. But yeah, so we will let that run through midnight, and we will do a drawing based off the people who tweet that. For those who don't know who Jennifer Blackwood is, she is a new adult romance writer.
Fabulous writer.
Yeah. We're giving away 5 of her books in the raffle as well. So go to whiskywinewriting.com to enter our raffle if you haven't already.
And I also do want to mention, before we move on, that I believe her first book in the series, Unethical, is still free on Amazon for a few more days. So you might want to hop over there and get it while it's free. Unethical by Jennifer Blackwood. And then Foolproof, which is the second one in that series, is the one we're giving 5 copies of. So. And
our special guest, Samantha, is graciously giving away some entries for the launch of WriterPitch.com. Did you pick a winner for the last tweet that you did?
Yeah, let's see. We have Gonna go with Joseph Miller.
Joseph is lucky, man. He wins everything.
I told you, he's amazing. Joseph is very lucky. He's a very lucky guy.
So on the tweet that I had posted, there was a link to my blog, and that will give you the information that you need to send me, and you can just send it to my email, Joseph.
Do you want to do another tweet contest as we continue critiquing?
Yeah, I can do that.
I think a lot of viewers still, and if you guys want to watch and still get critiques and pitching advice, we're happy to do it. It's a fun day with Pitch Madness and all. So
and just realize though, if we don't get to yours, you can post it on the feed on our blog. You can reply to the post there, and we will get to it there. So if we wind up ending the show and we weren't able to critique yours live, post a reply, a comment to the show's post, and we'll get to it on there. I promise. And I'm so sorry if I butcher this. Suja Sukumar, at SUJA Sukumar, she sat there and she's giving us a pitch. She says, to prove that her sister's drug overdose was, in fact, murder, Mira must defy her strict Indian parents and team up with a jockey. YA contemporary.
I love that.
I like that, too. You kind of have, with a jockey, well, it might be a jock, and then YA kind of wasn't spaced. I think that's what happened. So with a jock, I really like that too. I'm with Nikki. I think that's an absolutely great one. Just make sure that you space your YA and you hashtag it. That's all.
I would get rid of in fact, though, if you can, because I think that would give you more room to do, like, contempt. Because sometimes agents do search YA contempt, and no one's going to look for just a C. Just a little bit of a tip.
And also make sure you have enough for the PitMad hashtag. You always need to make sure that you have that in there. So, which I'm pretty sure actually it's a little bit shorter than our Whiskey Wine Writing hashtag, so I think you're good.
Samantha, did you want to do another one of your tweet entry contests for people interested in writer pitching?
I just sent it to Whiskey Wine and Writing hashtag.
Okay, so guys, if you're following hashtag WWWriting, you can find out what Samantha's contest thing is to pitch into writerpitch.com if you're interested, and follow the instructions there.
Awesome. And EJ Moore says she is so excited to be a part of the launch. So I guess she's already in. Congratulations, EJ.
Yay, EJ.
We have another Twitter pitch from Rachel Moser Hardy at RM Moser Hardy. Wait, no, R Moser Hardy. Oh, Twitter handles. Her Twitter pitch is, Tabby's dance studio is next to Bob's motorcycle shop. When Bob dies, Tabby must scrape rust off hearts or lose ballet like Bob. Oh, that actually made my heart hurt. Though, as I'm a grammar freak just because of my job, the first thing I saw was, and this won't make or break a Twitter pitch, but your comma before or is not necessary. You only need commas before conjunctions like that if the other side is an independent clause, and so that will save you character space not using that comma. But what do you guys think about the pitch, guys?
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of missing something. Like,
is she in a relationship with Bob?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Like, were they in love? Is that what it was? And she dies? And I don't understand about the lose ballet like Bob. I don't understand what that means.
Yeah. So if she's scraping, I like the imagery of scrape rust off hearts. But I feel like that might be better for your query.
Yeah.
You have so much more leeway with query writing that's where the voice just excels in.
I really do love the first sentence in it, though.
Tabby's dance studio is next to Bob's motorcycle shop.
It sets up the scene nice.
It does, but I don't know if you need to set the scene so much as tell us what's going on within the scene. I want to know what's happening. Like, I want to know if they're in love. I want to know if it was an unexpected death, or, it was something that was coming, and is Tabby scraping the rust off of her own heart or other people's hearts? Because you say hearts multiple, so I'm not sure. So, just stuff that you got to tighten up and let us know what's happening, because the more you let the agent know what's happening, the more they're going to get a feel if they like it or not.
Totally. E.G. Moore has a tweet for us, and it's, like Tom Sawyer, 12-year-old Dom tricks others till he sees murder. When bullies wrongly arrested, Dom must decide secrecy or honesty. Now, I have to say, I've actually read E.G.'s book, and it's fantastic. Go CPs. What do you guys think of her tweet?
It confused me. It did confuse me, actually. I got a little lost. I'm trying to see what made me feel lost about it.
12-year-old Dom tricks others till he sees murder. I don't understand what that means, honestly.
Me either, like, till he sees murder, and like, I don't know, I would say, like, Dom...
Tricking people and then they die, or...
But a bully's wrong. Like, I don't feel like these are complete sentences to begin with, and I think that's part of what's making it hard for me. And then, I don't know, I think I would take out the like Tom Sawyer at the moment and just, you know, put out what's going on there. Dom is you know, a trickster, and when he witnesses a murder, he must decide between secrecy or honesty, you know. But secrecy and honesty, I think, is also vague. So, you know, why would he keep it a secret if he knows that the bully is wrongly accused?
The bully? It could be because he hates the bully.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, state that, you know. When his nemesis is arrested, does he tell the truth or not, you know? Because just because he's a bully doesn't mean it's his bully.
Yes. The next Twitter pitch is from Emily Dunn at newfangled_wife. A 15-year-old pioneer barely survives a massacre, but trusting the major's son who risked his faith and life to save her may be harder.
Oh, well, that sucks.
The plot, not the tweet.
No, not the tweet. No, I meant the fact that she's like surviving a massacre, but she can't even trust the guy, and that's got to be really hard because it's got to be lonely. Is my thing. It's like it has to be so, like, I like that because I'm like, wow, this has to be one lonely, scared 15-year-old not to be able to trust somebody who risked his life for her. I mean, he risked his life. I'm sorry. And I really, Emily, I didn't mean that. It's like I really like the. It was like it's gotta suck to be, you know, to be in that situation where you can't trust somebody, you know. No, I like it. I really do.
What are you saying, Samantha?
No, I really like it too, and it does make you think. You want to know why she can't trust him. So, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's really well done, Emily. Very well done.
Yeah, I can't lie. She's my CP, and we worked on that together. Yeah, Emily, woohoo!
Well, she actually said that earlier on Twitter. She was like, "Is it fair if I post my tweet since Nikki already, you know, helped me with it?" But yeah,
like honestly, I mean,
no, I really like it
all the time. So I figured this will be interesting to see what you guys say. So I'm relieved.
And Nikki knows if I didn't like it, I'd say I didn't like it, but it wasn't your tweet I was talking about that I didn't like, Emily. It was like, man, it's gotta suck to be so isolated that you can't trust somebody who risks their life for you. I mean, that's like the ultimate thing right there. He risked his life. So I can only imagine how traumatized she is from the massacre.
As we're talking about pitches here, I just wanted to ask Samantha, with hosting, you know, Agent Match, and now you're doing this, have you seen a trend in what makes a pitch strong, or what agents are looking for? And what do you think is something that authors should really pay extra attention to when they're writing their pitches?
Yeah, definitely with the pitches, it has to be the stakes. That's the most important, especially in the Twitter pitches when you have so few characters. But as far as like Agent Match went, what the agents were looking for, there was a lot of adult that were requested, and it was more like real life circumstances. There wasn't so much of the paranormal or sci-fi that I saw from this last.
Awesome. I'm answering a tweet. Remember, guys, if you have questions for us, feel free to hop on the feed or use our hashtag WWWriting. The ones that I just saw, I realized people were actually tweeting me, and I've been ignoring you, so I apologize, everyone.
We actually, let me look over here in the feed because I don't want people to feel like we're neglecting the actual feed, and we have quite a few in here. Orville actually has a question. He says, I think I'm still confusing pitch and hook, maybe because of my sales background. Can you give examples of a Twitter pitch and a Twitter hook? I think confusing that with a query because you have your pitch with which can be your query, but your hook is generally the first line to pull somebody in.
Like a sentence.
Go ahead.
The hook should be, I think, more of just a sentence. Your one sentence hook that drags whoever in.
Right, but it's not generally something you would use in a Twitter pitch.
No, yeah.
You know, I wouldn't say that you would have a Twitter hook. For something like PitMad, you want a Twitter pitch, which is going to give the stakes without all the fluff and voice that would, you know, go into the actual query. Nikki, you have anything to add?
No, I think you answered that really well, and that's a great question. I think sometimes there's so much terminology that we can get bogged down and just so confused. And if you are confused about, you know, what's going on in the author world or querying, it's really good to research, not only reaching out to your writing community or watching shows like ours, but there's great blogs, there's great Facebook groups. Writer's Digest has great articles on things like this as well.
Absolutely. Orville, just to show you the difference, I read my PitMad tweet before that got favorited by Laura. So I'll read it again, and then I'll read you the hook for my query, and you can see, because the two really have nothing, I mean, it's for the same story, so obviously they have something to do with each other, but they're not anything really alike in terms of what they say. So the Twitter pitch was, falling in love with a man whose mother was murdered isn't easy, especially when Molly's father is the one who killed her. So that was my Twitter pitch. Now the hook for my query is, there's no manual for how to cope with being the daughter of a serial killer. That's my hook. That's the line I use to draw them in the query, which I would never use that for a Twitter pitch, just because it doesn't give any stakes.
Yeah, it's a hook. You want to know more of it.
Yeah, you want to know more, but it's not something, like I said, I would use for a Twitter pitch.
Yeah.
It's definitely a hook. So I hope that helps to clarify and kind of give you some helps to differentiate on one from the other.
I think another important thing to talk about too when it comes to these pitches is because you know when you want to hook someone, you tend to be vague, and whether it's query writing or Twitter pitches, sometimes being vague can be more harmful than helpful. So don't be afraid to share secrets that you maybe it only comes in like 5 pages in or 10 pages in, and it's like a wow moment. Just, it's better to say them. Someone came on the show. Was it Brenda who came on the show and explained that it's like bowling, and it's when you let go of the ball. What happened? Hitting the pins is the conclusion of your book, but the ball actually rolling. What?
I have no idea who said that.
Okay, I'm just rambling now, guys, because I just don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, so if you're querying someone and you're like, so-and-so discovers secrets that help her determine what she's going to do next, people are going to be like, well, what's the secret? If you said, so for example, I think the example we used on the last show was, if Ralph's prom date finds out his secret, she might not go with him. Well, that's not as strong as saying, if Ralph's prom date finds out he's a werewolf, she might not go to the prom.
Right.
So even
though before, words like secret, mysterious, mystery, if those are in your query, chances are you're being too vague. You want to take out those words and put in what's actually going on.
And sometimes, you want to show that there is going to be mystery. So, for example, with mine, I actually had it's called an A/B test in marketing, where you do 2 versions of essentially the same thing to see what works better. And I had one query that was more mysterious than the other, and because my book actually deals with sexual assault, but you actually don't learn about the sexual assault until chapter 11, which still read my book even though I just told you. Anyway, the mysterious one, it was a little too vague for people, but when I got my Pitch Wars mentor, we were able to actually hybrid them without revealing exactly what happened. We were able to phrase it in a way that people could infer, but it still showed the voice of mysterious in it. Given my pitch was longer, it was not a tweet. My book probably would have not gotten picked up by a tweet. I'm just going to say that. I don't even know how I'd write that Twitter pitch. So, it's funny. No.
So Shashi Kadapa over here in the Q&A, she gave us a pitch, but Shashi, can you tell us if this is supposed to be a Twitter pitch? If it's a Twitter pitch, you are negative 102 characters, so that's going to be way too long. So that's definitely something you would need to narrow down. So if that's for something else, let us know so we can kind of give you feedback based on what we're looking at it to be.
Okay, so we actually have a question from Kayla Bolster, at kbolster on Twitter. And it's, I'm having trouble finding a genre niche for my YA novel despite scouring info on internet. Advice? I could send more info. Feel free to send us more info if you think it'll help. I know a lot of people do have this problem. Actually, Tasha used to call her book genre neutral for a while, didn't you?
I really did. I really did. I had no idea. No idea what the genre was. It went from being contemporary romance to romantic thriller to women's fiction back to romantic thriller. Like, I had no idea. Right now we're going with probably contemporary romance with a danger element. So, but yeah, so, you know, and I think we were asking about this, it had been mentioned on Pitch Madness, the feed there too, about somebody mislabeling their genre. And it's not a make or break thing. I don't think all the time. Sometimes it can be, but for the most part, if they like it and it's within, like, if you label it as romance, but the agent doesn't do romance, yeah, that's going to be a break. Even if you label it as like fiction and it's actually romance, but they don't do romance, yeah, that's going to be a break. But if it's like a subgenre of romance, but you're not quite sure, and this agent covers all these subgenres, you're probably okay, and they'll just help you relabel it.
And Samantha, you write too. Can you tell us a little bit about the genre that you're currently writing?
Yeah, so mine is a young adult paranormal, and I have the same problem with the genre identification. Sometimes I feel like it's more suspense, and sometimes I feel like it's more of a thriller, so I get that. That's a good question. But mine deals with a psychic that there's a hometown tragedy, a girl goes missing, and she helps solve the case.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, at least try to make sure your book is in somewhat of the correct genre, whether it's, like, if you know it's romance but you're not quite sure what the subgenre is, okay, yeah, that's, at least, try to send it to, romance author or agent who does all these subgenres, so. But if it's got paranormal elements and you have an agent who says, no paranormal elements, don't send it to that agent. Like, just don't. So just make sure you read up on your agents and do your research. And like I said, if they think that it'll fit better into another category that they represent, they'll just help you switch the genre.
Also, we finally got an answer on what breaking B and E is. I just breaking and entering.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense now. Now that you said it, I know it. Like, I know I've heard it before, too.
I actually was thinking of a bank for some reason. I don't know why my mind went to a bank.
We have a lot of people following Jen, which is amazing. You guys, trust me, you're going to love her. She's adorable. She's fun. She's a fantastic writer. You just can't help but love her, I swear.
Remember, as authors, the best thing we can do is support each other, and by doing, following us on Twitter, following each other on Twitter, buying people's books, because we're really all in this together if you think about it.
Tamara just made me laugh. Tamara D. Wall, she goes, I followed at Jen Blackwood, though I'm not sure why yet. I didn't want to be left out of something important.
Nice.
So to refresh that, if you are following Jen Blackwood, aside from us giving away 5 of her books tonight, she has offered to do a query critique for one lucky winner. So an hour after the show, we're going to do random.org, and we're going to put, all your numbers and names and all that blah, blah, blah. Well, not numbers, but names. And one of you will get a query critique by the wonderful Jen Blackwood. And I should put it out there that Jen helped me for like 2 weeks with my query. And hey, this was the query I used with Laura. So, she knows what she's doing. And she said on the last show she loves doing query critiques. So she really is fun and amazing. So.
Now, Samantha, with your website, writerpitch.com, would you say that, since it's like a 3-paragraph pitch, would you say it's modeled after query writing, essentially?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
So if you're interested in submitting to this website, enter for the query critique. Send it to your friends. A book is like a baby, and they say that babies are raised better by villages. It's the same thing with Twitter.
It totally is the same thing. I agree.
I'm sorry.
That's a great analogy.
Sometimes when I'm tired, I sound like fortune cookies, and that's just how I roll. But I mean, it's like giving birth to your book, baby, right? It's a lot of pain and suffering, and then you're like, it's beautiful. Let me send it out to the world. But you can't raise it on your own. You need your village, and we are happy to be your village for you. Just as a reminder, if you go to whiskeyWineWriting.com, there we have a raffle going for multiple prizes, including query critiques from Tasha and me. We also have writer pitch mugs from Samantha and Whiskey Wine Writing. I can't talk tonight. Whiskey Wine Writing mugs by us, and also Jen Blackwood's books.
Yes. Also, there was something I was going to say, and it totally blanked out of my mind. I swear I had something to say.
Speaking of Pitch Madness and Life After Pitch Madness, which is the theme for tonight's show, that's why we're critiquing a lot and talking about writerpitch.com. As many of you Pitch Madness people know, the winners will be announced on Monday, the same as the launch for Writer Pitch and the same as our raffle announcement. But the draft will be on Sunday. And Tasha, do you want to tell them something about that?
No, because I don't know if I can.
Okay, never mind. So we will tell you guys later.
That's the honest answer. I totally would, but I don't know if I'm allowed, so I'm not going to say anything.
So basically, you should stalk our Twitter profiles to find out cool secrets later this weekend.
Yes.
I don't know what will.
No, what I was going to say, it came back to me. Also, on Whiskey, Wine, and Writing, I know we've been talking a lot about critique partners and having people to look over your stuff. If you are looking for a critique partner, there are critique partner classifieds on whiskeywinewriting.com too, where people have put up an ad and what they're looking for in a critique partner. So you can peruse those. There's a bunch of different genres, adult, young adult, everything like that. So sometimes if I see two that are kind of coinciding as I'm putting up the ads, I'll connect you automatically on Twitter and be like, oh, hey, you guys are kind of looking for the same thing. So if you're looking for a CP, feel free. All their Twitters are on there as well, so you can either contact them directly or fill out the form and we'll contact them for you, either way. And if you don't see anything that's kind of striking you, you can also fill out your own ad. I'm going to move the ad somewhere more accessible right now. You'll just have to go to the very end of the post on the CP classifieds. But we'll move that up so it's a little bit easier to access for people.
And because it's February, we've been doing CP Love month, and that's why Tasha hooked up this awesomeness for you all. And CPs are so important. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without Tasha or my friend Emily. Can you tell us a little bit about your CPs, Samantha? Do you have them? How often do you use them?
I'm part of YAF, which is Young Adult Fiction Fanatics, and I could not live without their help, from going over chapters together to doing like the full read-throughs. They're just needed, definitely.
Awesome. So we have another Twitter pitch. We actually have a lot of Twitter pitches. I love all of these, guys. Keep sending them if you want. We might not be able to get to all of them. We're already going a little over what we thought we would.
Which always happens on these kind of shows. But again, we did say if we don't get to yours, post it in a reply for the blog post for this show, and we'll get to them. We'll reply to you in a comment.
But our next one is from Julie Caveney. Did we do this one already? It's P:YA. When the cure to his illness is the catalyst that could change the world, our fate is in Jet's hands. What will he choose? I don't know what P: means.
Who is this? I'm sorry, I got lost.
It's Julie Caveney. It was posted 33 minutes ago because that's where we are on the feed, y'all.
Okay, I think I'm almost there because I just got to 33 minutes.
So I don't know what P means. I don't know if that could be paranormal, but I will pass this on to someone else too, because I mean I don't like rhetorical
questions. Can you just copy and paste it in the chat for me so I can see it, Nikki? Because I can't seem to find it.
I am pasting that now.
Oh wait, no, found it. Julie Caveney. Oh, I got it from you too, so now I got it from both. When the cure to his illness is the catalyst that could change the world, our fate is in Jet's hands. What will you choose? So there's those rhetoric questions that pretty much, from what we understand, from what we've been told, agents don't like. They don't want you to ask them a question they're not going to know the answer to. Give them the facts. So how is it going to change the world? Why is our fate in his hands? You know, I want to know the answers to those questions.
why is he? Why is it a choice too? Like, why wouldn't he just share the cure?
And how does he know it's cure? Like, I mean, there's so much you could put in there to show the stakes. I just, and that's a pick and choose thing because there are so many questions you're getting more questions asked about this than desire to read, like, why is it this, why is it that? So, you could be like, the cure to Jet's illness is the catalyst that can change the world, bringing on the apocalypse, or something like that. Let us know what the actual stakes are for changing the world. Is it a better change? Is it a worse change? Stuff like that. Vanessa Kelly says, a womanizer, a man test, a stalker who wants her forever. None of these obstacles were to deter him from winning her heart. Is this from the stalker's point of view? I'm not really quite sure who the protagonist is. This is Vanessa Kelly. At Vanessa F. Kelly. I'm not sure if I read this one or not, but I don't know. I don't think that's very clear, and like, is the stalker the one trying to win her heart, or is this another guy trying to win her heart despite the stalker going after her? Like, it's a little confusing for me. Anyone else?
It's the same person, right? All in one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same person or not, because it says a womanizer, a man test, a stalker who wants her forever. None of these obstacles will deter him from winning her heart. So is the obstacles the stalker, and this is another guy who wants her? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
So you would definitely need to clarify that, and I would use names like, Toby is in love with Alyssa, but the stalker after her is making things difficult, and that's a really crappy one. Don't use that. But you get my point of putting the people in there so we know who you're talking about, because all these he's and hers don't really tell anything.
Oh, we have a question, and it's from Tamara D. Walsh. Are we allowed to give advice on the Pit Mad pitches, or is that just for the judges, readers to give advice on? I would say, unless you know the person tweeting, ask their permission first. They are tweeting to us and want our opinions, and maybe they don't want unsolicited advice tonight. But feel free to reach out to them and ask, because some people may be open to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like, well, I have a suggestion as how to make this better, I would say that to them, because, you might find a critique partner out of it, so who knows. But yeah, don't just force your opinions on somebody, guys.
And have another.
By the way, guys, nobody here is saying you suck. By the way, please don't ever think that.
All great.
Times I went through my query and my pitches and everything else. Oh my God, I lost count. I just started numbering them. I was like, query number 1, query number 2, query number 3, query number 4. It was all for redemption. But it just kept going on and on and on. Same thing with the pitches. I mean, it's trial and error. It's learning how to condense things. It doesn't suck. It needs to be improved. And trust me, stuff always needs to be improved. Even if you've already got an agent, stuff still needs to be improved. Don't ever think your edits stop just because you get an agent. It doesn't work like that.
The query I sent to Pitch Wars was literally, the file name was query version 1 million. I mean, it wasn't literally the 1 million. That's what I named it, because at that point, that's how I felt. And, it did get me my Pitch Wars mentor, which I love dearly, and I joined Pitch Wars. It's fantastic. But we ended up revising that query, I think, 3 times before, because after Pitch Wars, when people request, sometimes they still want your query, and then I did query when I was allowed to right after the agent round. So queries are fluid and always changing. And, sometimes it's good to personalize them, too. That's something we haven't talked about yet. Tasha, what's your take on personalized queries?
I think they should only be personalized if you have a reason to personalize them. I don't think you should choose, like, you go through Query Tracker and you find an agent you want to go with. That is fine. Don't personalize it like you know them. If you get a favorite from PitMad, yeah, I said, dear Miss Bradford, or however I say, I think it was Miss Bradford, thank you so much for favoriting my tweet, and then I put the tweet. And then I was like, here's Redemption's query, and I went on with that. I think if you have a reason, you should, but don't do it if you don't. Like, if they favorite your thing, or say it's a manuscript, MSWM manuscript wish list, you can say, I saw this on Twitter that you were requesting this type of manuscript, and, you know, I think that would fit this, because then they know that you found them on Twitter. So if you have a reason to personalize it, go for it. Don't just do it out of the blue.
Things to avoid. Hey, I noticed that you live in Florida, and I live in Florida too. I saw you at the mall the other week. No, don't do things like that.
That's very stalkerish. I don't know that they would read your queries so much as take out a restraining order. So.
Yeah. I didn't hear what you said before, Samantha. What was that?
Oh, you know, I like the way you brush your hair through your bedroom window, something like that.
Probably not the best thing. Also,
No.
Don't tell a agent what you can't do. They don't know you from a hole in the wall. Don't try to play the bashful card or anything like that. Tell them what you can do, and let the words in your query speak for you.
Other thing to avoid. You're totally missing out if you don't represent me right now.
Yeah, don't do that.
That happens sometimes.
Or I just wrote the next big thing, or, yeah. I've heard
Yeah,
agents.
don't be like, I'm the next Stephen King. Don't do that.
Unless you are a certified psychic that got kidnapped by the government to do many tests on, and they are using you to find out the enemy's plans and wars, and you're critically acclaimed, do not make predictions. No one likes those. Speaking of personalization, though, so since in writerpitch.com it's almost reversed, since the writers aren't reaching out to the agents are reaching out to the writers. Is there a how is connecting them going to be? Will there be, do you think, more room for getting personal with agents, or just what is your thoughts on that?
I hope. I mean, it's always exciting when you start to get to know an agent and you're like, wow, they're actually a normal human being. So I hope that there's some kind of communication going on between them. But once an agent asks a request for the manuscript, it's out of our hands. They're going to be doing that between their own emails.
Okay.
Also, another thing, so you guys don't address agents in odd ways. Like when you're doing your endearment, like dear so-and-so, don't be like, dear bodacious agent, or dear, you know, whatever. Don't do that. And I only say that because somebody, one of my Bradford babes, one of them said that one time Laura was addressed really strange in a query, and I was like, really? Somebody did that? No. Dear Laura, dear Miss Bradford, however you want to do it straight up. Don't put some weird, quirky, dear most awesome agent of all time. Like, don't do that.
Few names and sometimes even courtesy titles are, depending on the agent, you can tell usually who's more formal than others by researching their profiles. I guess I'm a little heartbroken. I thought I could say dear home skillet, and now I'm a little sad.
Yeah, I don't think that would work.
We actually have another question, and I did answer this on Twitter, but if anyone is curious too, Becky Bean said, I signed up for the raffle, but I realized I have no idea what I signed up for. A leg lamp? Unfortunately, no leg lamps will be distributed at this time.
I'm sorry, The Christmas Story is my husband's favorite Christmas movie. He actually got a leg lamp ornament for the tree this past year.
Maybe for Christmas next time we can make actual casts of our legs and paint them and have exclusive...
No, you're going creepy again. No, too creepy. Too creepy. Nobody's getting a cast of my leg. No.
Actually, I mean, most women don't shave during the winter either, so it's funky leg.
Poor girl, we don't get snow.
So apparently,
Oh, that's right.
I shave year round.
honestly, I don't know what's coming out of my mouth after 9:30. I'm tired on Fridays because I'm old. What we are giving away, though, for those who are curious or just signing on, is we're giving away 6 query critiques, 3 from me, 3 from Tasha. We're also giving away 2 Whiskey Wine Writing mugs. We're giving away 5 writerpitch.com mugs, and we're giving away 5 copies of Jennifer Blackwood's book, Foolproof, which is...
And if you want an extra, possible chance at winning a query critique from Jennifer Blackwood herself, you must follow at Jen, Jen _ Blackwood on Twitter. Use our hashtag WWWriting, and say, I follow Jen Blackwood because she has offered to do a query critique for one winner. So at the end of the show, we're going to wait an hour past the end of the show, and if you follow her and tweet that to us, you will go into the raffle at random.org, and one special winner, well, not special, you're all special and awesome, but one lucky winner will be picked to get a critique by her.
And Samantha has been giving away entries to writerpitch.com via Twitter during the show as well. Did we announce the last winner?
The last one is Kara. Oh my goodness, Wirgakas. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for butchering that. But
we butcher names all the time. We don't mean to.
I have your information. I might need a few other things, but I'll email you after we're done here. So congrats, Kara.
You want to do another one for our viewers?
Yes, let's do that.
And thank you, Samantha has originally agreed to be on our show, and we're running long because we're here for you guys. But honestly, Samantha, if you do need to leave, we will not hold it against you.
Okay, well, I will probably say bye pretty soon because I have my little guy Wallace, who's 4 over at Mama and Papa's. He might be destroying their house. The possibility. So okay.
That could happen. So. Oh, by the way, guys, for those of you who were watching 2 weeks ago, you found out I had to rush my dog to the vet because she wasn't able to walk. They think she has degenerative disc disease. She's 10. She's a dachshund. It's kind of a thing with them, but she's doing better. She can walk, and this she's been doing laser therapy and everything, so she seems to be doing a lot better. So thank goodness for that. Knock on wood, and I'm very, very happy. So anybody who was watching and wanted to know,
I'm very happy about your puppy. For those who want to know how to win the next entry into Writer Pitch's launch, which is on Monday, follow Samantha Fountain. Her Twitter handle is in her name tag on the show, and the instructions will be in her tweet. We do have another Twitter pitch to critique, which is...
We have plenty of Twitter pitches to critique.
Actually, if you do need to go, I just realized you just said you need to go. Do you want to say a few words in closing? Just a little bit more about your vision for writerpitch.com and
anything we may not have touched on, anything you kind of want to put out there for everybody.
Yeah, I think there will be also a place called the Secret Garden where you can ask questions and we'll respond, and also, gosh, I'm starting to lose my mind now. Any suggestions that you have to improve the site too. So there will be that on the site. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to tweet me, and I'll do my best to get back to you. There's so much going on behind the scenes, too. I feel like I have some wires crossed in my own brain, so...
We always have wires crossed in our brains, so, you fit in just fine.
Yeah, obviously, nuts. Thank you for putting up with us tonight. You've been a lot of fun.
You've been absolutely amazing, Sam. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys later.
All right, bye, Sam.
Bye.
And for everyone who's still watching, we will stay on to do a few more Twitter pitches, I guess until we pass out, maybe.
Hopefully not that late. Hopefully not. Eventually I'm going to have to pee, I'm sure. So, all right, so...
I lost it. I had it right in front of me. It was Bixby something.
Okay, Dwight Karkin. I know which one you're talking about. He is at DCE, at DCE Dwight. And it's Bixby's family is the new caretakers of Pinnacle Manor. To rescue the missing owner, she must compete in a risky game of riddles. I kind of like that.
I do like that too.
I like that very much because I feel like there's stakes in there, and it's unique, and we've got the riddles, and I really like that. I think that's a great job, Dwight.
Yeah, I agree. I like that a lot. The only thing I want to know is what is the age category, because my mind again immediately went to MG, which it might be adult. I don't know, but I like that a lot.
I have a feeling it's either MG or YA. So.
And then we have one from Peggy Rothschild. In trouble, 16-year-old Nikki is sent to Grandpa's. There, she helps a kidnapped girl and faces deputies who kill to hide their crime. While the stakes aren't super highlighted, I got a good sense of your novel from that one, I think. Well, I do have to say thank you, though, for using my name as your main character. I mean, I appreciate that.
I don't necessarily think you need the first line of that she's sent to Grandpa's. You can just be like, Nikki helps a kidnapped girl and faces the deputies who will kill to hide their crime. So then you can add a little bit more of the stakes in there. Because the fact that she was sent to Grandpa's, I think you can put it in your query if it's really that important to have in there.
Agreed. And this isn't because of this tweet, but this just popped in my mind. I was told a while back that if you do state the age in your tweet, like 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 15-year-old, you don't have to necessarily put YA unless you want it to be extra searchable, because in general, agents will assume that's your category.
Right. So, let's see here. So,
and again, if you want to tweet us your pitch, we'll be here as long as we can, but feel free to comment on our blog at whiskywinewriting.com.
Absolutely. So Jamie Zekin, over here on our Q&A bar, says, "Hey guys, thanks for doing pitch critiques. We're always happy to do it." She goes, "Here's mine for Fiona." Or here's mine, sorry. "For Fiona, coming of age means something different. The emergence of a volatile power and a lifetime of running from the government." Well, I think it's good. I just don't think I have the stakes. Like, I get that this is going to happen to her, but I don't know what happens if the government catches her.
I almost feel like it would be stronger because I don't know what age is coming of age for Fiona. So I think it could be stronger if you were like, at 17, Fiona has to do X, Y, and Z, or something along those lines, maybe.
The emergence of Fiona's volatile powers at 17, set her on the run from the government because X, Y, Z. Something like that.
Yeah, and it would save you word count, too. That's the hardest thing about these pitches, guys, is just, brevity.
I know, we only have 140 characters. That's not words, that's characters. That's every space, comma, whatever you put into your Twitter. Okay, those are your characters. So.
And I think anyone who's able to take a 50 to a 90 or 150,000 word novel and make it 140 characters is a hero.
Yeah, seriously.
And good for you for putting it out there, because half the battle with being an author is putting yourself out there. It can be scary, but it's worthwhile for sure, because
Emily's so cute, by the way. She says, "Mickey, you're my favorite fortune cookie, and support for my book Baby and Baby Babies." You're making her turn red, Emily. I love you. I love it when she turns red. I'm going to ask you why.
Thank you guys for putting up with my fortune cookiness. It's been a long week. Okay, so
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying we have some more pitches. Actually, okay, Tether, bracket, 16-year-old princess. This is from KJ Folk, sorry. Tether, 16-year-old princess, must slay a dragon after it has killed her father to claim the throne in a male-dominated society. I got a good sense of your novel in general. First themes I'm seeing, I always go to grammar first, is again, you don't need that comma before the to. Also, I think you can actually omit the brackets, maybe put that identification first in front of her name.
Right. 16-year-old Princess Tether must slay a dragon after it killed her father. I would take out has. Just say it killed. It gives you extra space. So 16-year-old, and do YO if you're going to abbreviate year-old. So 16 YO. Princess Tether must slay a dragon after it killed her father to claim the throne in a male-dominated society. I kind of want to know what happens if she doesn't. Like,
are they going to kill her, or are they just?
Yeah, like, is she being forced to slay this dragon? Is this like, a task they have to undertake to gain the throne? Stuff like that. Like, does every male who takes the throne have to slay a dragon? And if so, as in a male-dominated society, why are they even letting her try? These are kind of things you need to ask yourself to put the stakes on the line.
I agree completely. I know it sounds like we're broken records with being like stakes, stakes, stakes. Stakes are just so important, and like when I entered Pitch Wars, I could apply to 4 mentors that year is how it worked, and actually one of the mentors wrote back, "I would love to read more, but could you first tell me what your stakes are, because I had no idea from your query." And I realized, wow, first of all, that's a little embarrassing. I should have had stakes in my query. And then it's like, wow, I was that close, to her just requesting right off the bat, but she needed to know more. Agents aren't as nice as that. If they don't see that, they might just read it so fast. Also, interns read a lot, too, so you might not even be getting the agent who's reading your query or hit.
It's actually funny. One of my professors, who I really like him as a professor, he's like a great guy, very interesting in class. But the way he starts off every class is, and he has a very Southern aristocratic voice, so he's like, "Does anybody have any thoughts announcements, news, complaints against the world. And we just had to turn in our midterm paper. So one of the guys raised his hand and he asked, he's like, why do we have to do it in MLA format? Like, what is college trying to prepare us for? It's not like an agent's not going to take our stuff if it's a really good novel and we don't follow the format. And I kind of raised my hand even though we were all trying to get out early. I was like, that's not true. That is not true in any sense of the word. If you don't follow the format that the agent requests to a T, they're going to discard it. You know, excuse me. They're going to discard it.
True. And some agents are more picky than others. That's another reason you should do your research. So a lot of people do the standard format where you just lead in with your plot summary, and then maybe at the very end you're like, my novel complete at blah, blah, blah words is a blah, blah, blah genre, and which is great. But some agents will actually say on their blogs, hey, you know, sometimes I like to know what I'm reading first, which means the title and how many words in the genre. I mean, it really is preference. And some people have said no personalized queries.
Mm-hmm.
So you really just need to do your research. It's so important.
Yeah, a lot of them somewhere have blog posts and interviews and everything like that. So it's always good to, you know, check those out sometimes because you'll get more in-depth information on what they're looking for and things like that. So again, it's always good to look at these websites and take your time when querying and sending out everything and making sure you definitely follow their guidelines, because if you don't follow guidelines, they're not going to take the time to really look at your stuff. It's going to be a 1 in a million chance that they are.
Because know what following guidelines also shows is that you as a potential client know how to take what they say and apply it to your writing. I know you might not think about that for your query, but that's the truth. They want to know how, because I mean, you're going to get an edit letter once you send your book and they decide to sign you as a client. They're going to give you this edit letter, and it could be 1 page, it could be 15, and you're going to have to apply their critique to your writing before they put you on sub.
And it's not necessarily going to be a line by line. It's going to be like, overall, you know, you need to do X, Y, and Z to this novel, which means you may have to go into several parts of your novel to make these edits completely work throughout it. So, you know, they have to know that you're going to be able to take direction and apply it correctly.
Totally. Do you have a pitch you want to read?
I'm looking. Oh, so Joseph Miller, he goes, so no mentioning Twitter stalking. I know what you tweeted last summer. Got it. I'm sorry, that just made me laugh.
A+ for listening. There you go. Apply the advice.
So here we have Colleen Pregals. I'm so sorry if I said that wrong. At C Pregals. She says, little boy travels to Span Latin, I think you meant Spain Latin, countries for cute mini adventures, bilingual, bicultural children's book. I want to know the boy's name to begin with, and I kind of want to know what these mini adventures are. You need to give me what's actually going on.
Yeah,
is this a picture book? A middle grade book? You say children, but that could be still several genres.
Technically, I'm a children's author, but my main characters are 16.
Right.
So adult is a children's
really more detail with that, and you know, watch your spelling definitely. I mean, it's not necessarily a make or break because it's Twitter and everybody knows that we tend to make mistakes, but you're definitely going to watch your spelling. And like I said, I really like that it's bilingual and bicultural. I'm kind of getting like almost a Dora the Explorer feel. But I want to know the stakes. I want to know what makes it different from Dora the Explorer. I want to know what adventures he's going on and where his parents are, for one. Like, how is he going on all these adventures?
She was abbreviating Spanish, not saying Spain.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Spanish. Spanish countries.
But
I apologize. That's my fault.
To make sure that you really limit your abbreviations, because people are just going to look at these so quick, and you don't want them to just miss it because they didn't see what you were saying right away.
Right.
Also, avoid all abbreviations in actual written queries. An agent just tweeted that this week, actually, that she got someone abbreviated your, like YR.
That is usually like ear.
Yeah, so that just gets confusing. And also, when you write a query letter, it's just a business letter anyway, so you really want to be as professional as you can because it's your first impression for potential professional.
I know that before I sent anything off to my agent, I was like, Nikki, check. No, check again. No, check again, Nikki.
I I am a grammar Nazi, y'all.
Which I love about her. I do. I love it.
Actually, I was little teeny detour in the conversation on Pitch Madness yesterday. We were talking about grammar, and I had mentioned that I have crazy stories on how I learned grammar, and people wanted to hear them, but I didn't have enough time. So may I share them now?
Floor is yours, baby.
Okay, so guys, this is how I learned grammar. I'm not necessarily recommending this, but it is important to actively seek out, educating yourself on proper grammar rules. The reason I'm a grammar freak is, first, it started in 3rd grade. I had a teacher who was a new teacher, and I love her to death to this day, so don't take this as a bad thing, but we had daily oral language, and we had to catch the 3 grammar errors in the sentences every day, and if you got them wrong, you got detention. And I got detention all the time. So that was my first foray into grammar, and so I just became very determined to learn these rules so I didn't have to do detention.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That's kind of like cruel and unusual punishment, but all right.
Then there's more happened between then, obviously, but in college I was a writing consultant at the university level. I actually used to speak at University Writing Center conferences and stuff, but my boss, who, again, I love this lady to death too. Sometimes tough love is the best love, guys. So she had to sit in on a client session with me, and what I would do is we read papers out loud, and I would help them with their mechanics or their brainstorming or their format. And she sat quiet the whole time, took her notes. My client left, and she looked at me and she goes, "You did not explain a single comma rule. Explain all of them to me now." And I couldn't, and it was embarrassing, and it was humiliating. And so I
couldn't do it. I could not explain to you the comma rules right now.
Not many people can. It's not a normal thing to have in your brain. So that particular job, we did have grammar workshops once a week to make sure our skills were sharp, but I had to go through, and I had to learn them, and she trained me on whenever I would say, oh, this comma's out of place, I have to say the rule afterwards. That's why I do that in some tweets. And honestly, when you're getting critique partners, I think that's kind of important, especially freelance editors. Make sure you know people who do know their rules, because commas are subjective sometimes anyway, and people could be like, oh, you don't need a comma there, or you need a comma here. Pauses there. But anyway, so that
I was doing a vlog on critique partners versus beta readers, because we actually, as we were doing the CP classifieds, some people didn't know there was difference. And they were like, well, I can't reciprocate the CP partnership. I'm like, well, then that's not a critique partner, that's a beta reader. And so I'm doing the vlog on that, but one of the things I put in there is that one of the things you need to do is don't expect your critique partner to be your editor. Yes, they need to be looking for this stuff, but you shouldn't be sending it over there with having it not gone through edit yourself. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure it's the best it can be when you send it to your CP partner. They're supposed to be able to catch what you miss, not correct everything because you didn't want to do it yourself. So go ahead.
So with grammar and learning to self-edit, not everyone does have the educational background or the training or the really scary boss who made you cry over comma rules. The best way is to really, look at grammargirl.com. She has tons of easy ways to learn rules, like the difference between effect and affect, or even the comma rules. You can actually buy workbooks as well, and I know that sounds silly because a lot of us are adults, we're out of college, some of us are still students, but it's worthwhile to get a workbook sometimes that's maybe an adult level or a college level grammar book, and drilling yourself. And honestly, drilling yourself on mechanics is really, really helpful, I think, especially if you don't think your grammar is quite there. It's not everything when it comes to writing a novel that's full of great story and voice, but it can sometimes be the glue to keep your words together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and nobody's saying your work has to be perfect when you send it to the CP. Just make sure it's the best you can make it. We know that you're going to miss a comma, or you're going to skip a word in a sentence, or because you look at your manuscript so many times, eventually the stuff just becomes invisible to you. But if you're sending it to your critique partner and it's riddled with spelling errors that spell check could have easily got and stuff like that, then yeah, you're basically looking for your critique partner to be your editor, and that's not what a critique partner does. So.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, Tasha, but when I went through revisions with my agent, I did find typos. And I mean, this is a manuscript that I revised 5 times before submitting to Pitch Wars. My Pitch Wars mentor and I went through it twice, and and then I still had typos. And it's okay. I mean, it's like I said, it's not a make or break thing. It's
Yeah,
just knowledge.
It's not a make or break if you have a few spelling errors here or there throughout the manuscript, but if they're finding like tons in a chapter, each per chapter, yeah, that's going to be a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you want to make it the best you can before you send it to your critique partner. Send it to your critique partner. Go back and forth a couple of times. Don't just think that one round is going to do it. You're going to have to go back and forth a couple of times. And then if you want to get that beta reader, which I would suggest at least having one beta reader, because eventually your manuscript is going to become just as blind to your critique partner as it is to you, because they're going over it with you just as much as you're going over it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So having a beta reader at the end of it who can see beginning to end as a whole without seeing the separate segments that you've been working with your critique partner is going to let somebody see the overall work and let you know if anything in the overall is missing or needs to be fixed or something like that, and it's another set of fresh eyes.
Totally. And don't try to have 10 or 15 or 20 CPs, because it's so hard to reciprocate at a great level to that person. I personally have maybe like 3, and then I do have tons of beta readers that I enjoy their opinions, but I might not necessarily get to read theirs. I do try to read as many as I can for people when I do have time, but my priority are my CPs because they put the work into my manuscript.
Critique partner, and like I said, I'll have this vlog out hopefully tomorrow. Critique partners, by definition, and that's pretty much how I start out, are partners. That means you're giving what you're getting. So you need to, whatever you need to sit down and talk with your CP partner and say, look, this is what I'm looking for. What are you looking for? And you both need to come to a consensus of how this is going to work. So you need to know what you both are willing to put in and what you both want out of it. Otherwise, it's never going to work. So, and beta readers, just to clarify, are people who do not expect reciprocation generally. Sometimes it might be another writer, but who's kind of willing to swap. But for the most part, beta readers can be just bookworms or, anybody within that group who's willing to read your book and give you general. And these are going to be general opinions, guys. These aren't going to be in detail critiques. They're going to be overall what works, what doesn't.
Yeah, totally. Like one of the best critiques I got from a beta reader was my veteran neighbor man, who read my YA about a 16-year-old girl, and honestly, his perspective was fantastic. I wouldn't trade that for the world. And he was a business major, I think. He wasn't even a literary guy. Just had time to read my book and had an opinion, and I took it to heart. Also, though, remember that opinions are just opinions. If you do get an opinion that maybe doesn't resonate with you right away, or maybe offends you, or you're like, I don't understand this, don't stress about it. If you start getting that from multiple people, that's when you should really evaluate that. But we all get opinions sometimes that don't make sense to us, and it's not the end of the world. It's just something you have to do.
If you don't think it works, then you don't think it works. But don't discard it right away. Take a moment, step back, and look at it, and try to, like she said, sometimes you don't understand it. Try to understand it. Now, if you can't understand it, and you're getting it from multiple people, and you still can't understand it, it's definitely time to reevaluate. So,
we have another Twitter pitch. A sheltered wife's soul. This is from M.A. Frechette. A sheltered wife's soul is on the line to avenge her husband, but the demon is now after the one growing inside her as well. I like that, actually.
I do too. I got a little confused why her soul's on the line to avenge her husband.
And why is her soul sheltered? I don't know what that means either.
A sheltered wife.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I read that wrong. Sheltered's wife's soul. Okay.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know why her soul is on the line to avenge her husband, so that kind of makes it weird for me. Because you don't mention demon till later, but the demon's after the baby growing inside of her, so wouldn't that make the baby's soul on the line? So, yeah, you see what I mean? I feel like there might be just a little bit too much going on in there. If the main plot is her soul is on the line, kind of keep it to that. If the main plot is this demon going after her child, I would put in the stakes for that. So, we did skip one from Tonya Tomlin. Sorry if I said that wrong. She says, 3 dead friends, 2 murderers, 1 chance to save herself. As the killer closes in, he's wearing the face of her enemy or her friend. So I think you waste a lot of room, a lot of characters here by making these entered. And I think that this would probably work better not as a Twitter pitch. Like,
I usually would agree with that too. I do know someone though who did get a favorite with this format. I think it's risky, but I think if you can pull it off well, there's no harm in doing it. I would say you should try crafting a standard Twitter pitch to go with it as one of your alternating ones throughout the day, because you shouldn't rely just on that method. But I have.
Okay, well then, keeping that format in mind, I would still change the last bit of it. He's wearing the face of her enemy or her friend.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that really confused me. So if we're going with the since you know somebody got favorited by that, keep that first format, but I would make the sentence clearer at the end, because I'm not really sure what that means. So.
Yeah, I do gotta say though, Tanya, I'm really digging the 3 dead friends, 2 murderers, 1 chance to save herself. I already feel.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Okay, well I wasn't going there. I actually felt like I would read that on a book jacket, which is rare to find in a Twitter pitch. If you know what I mean. That's just my personal opinion. Which these things again, they're so subjective.
Yeah.
What you might like might not be what an agent likes. We just know what we've seen works in the past, what we things like that, what we've learned from other authors. But this whole industry is just so subjective.
Yeah. So Lana Wood Johnson says 17-year-old Mel just started Ragnarok, but her bigger problem is the Norn who needs Mel's future to fix everyone else's. I like that.
17-year-old Mel just started Ragnarok. What is Ragnarok?
Ragnarok is the Norse end of the world, basically, when Valhalla falls and everything like that.
Oh, that's cool.
So. Yeah, so 17-year-old Mel just started Ragnarok, but her bigger problem is the Norn, which is kind of like the 3 witches from Macbeth.
Okay, yeah.
That's what the Norn is basically in Norse mythology. So the Norn who needs Mel's future to fix everyone else's. So basically she's trying to steal her life to fix the world.
I like that. And an agent who is looking for something like that, and has a background in that, will know exactly what you meant, unlike me, who I had no idea what this was. But it sounds great to me.
I love mythology, so I think it's cool. I'm not as in depth in it as I would like, but yeah, I really like. And I talked to Lana from Twitter and our Beta Babes group and everything like that. So she's been working on this stuff for a long time. So don't think that like she's just pulling this out on a whim. I've been seeing her work on all this stuff for a while now. So remember, it takes work, guys.
And also, if say you don't get into Pitch Madness on Monday, say you don't get a favorite on Pit Mad on the 11th, it's okay. There's tons of opportunities going on, and traditional querying is still one of the most effective ways to get an agent.
Absolutely. I know that I also entered into Pitch Wars with Nikki for a different manuscript, but I didn't get in. I entered several of the Pit Mads and Ad Pits and all the other Twitter pitch competitions that I didn't get any favorites. It's very subjective. It's very, is this going to work for that agent, and are they even going to like it once they get the query? So, don't feel too bad. We all go through it. So.
And it's okay to get discouraged occasionally. I mean, we all feel that. But you're only allowed a short amount of time to wallow before you get back up. Rewrite your novel, write a new novel, write a new query, or something like that. Just keep going. I mean, it took me 4 novels before this novel got picked up, personally. I mean, it wasn't my first book. Some people get lucky on the first book, but I've known people who've written 10 novels before they got an agent. And, that sounds exhausting, but really when you're writing and you're rewriting and you keep writing, you're getting better each time. And that should be your ultimate goal, too.
My mom found, one of my original novels on her computer, which I don't know how she still has it on her computer since she's been through, 8 computers since I wrote this thing and lived with her and wrote this on the shared computer. This was also a shared computer. It's not even like in the days of everybody has their own computer in the house. No, this is when we shared computers in the house. So it's like, how do you still have this? Seriously, no. How, when she started reading, the first few lines, I'm like, just burn it with fire. I don't care if you have to print it to burn it, but burn it with fire. She was like, it's not that bad. I'm like, it's terrible, and it really is. But yeah, so you'll go through several different novels. I mean, like she said, you may get lucky on your first one, but when the one I was working for Pitch Wars last year didn't work out, I had another concept that I had. And that's the one that got picked up. So, just because you're feeling down about one novel not getting picked up doesn't mean stop writing. Take that next concept and run with it.
Don't give up. And remember, you're not alone. we've been there. We understand the feelings. I mean, and even once you're interested, there's going to be tons of other feelings. It's just a very roller coaster ride. We did get an interesting question in the feed from E.L. Wicker, which is, how do you guys feel about paying a beta reader? I never would, nor do I think you should. Well, I don't need to, though. Team Walrus.
Yeah, that's one of my CP partners. Yeah, no, I'm with her. I don't think you should ever have to pay a beta reader.
Never, never. I think the only person you should pay, if you're willing to pay someone, is a freelance editor. If you feel like you need to work on, you know, maybe your grammar or maybe the overall concept on your book in a way that a CP can't, or maybe you can't find the CP you want. And even then, with the freelance editor, make sure you check their references and their experience, because there's a lot of people out there who call themselves freelance editors who aren't necessarily qualified.
Well, we do know actually some qualified editors, so if you are looking for editors, we had them as guests. This is Kim Graff and Marianne, and they have, what is it, Wild Things Editing?
Wild Things Editing.
Wild Things Editing. So you can look them up on Twitter. You can go, I think, like 2 posts back on our webcast, and you'll see them there, their interview. So if you're looking for an editor, they're reputable. They both have the background for it. They both are fantastic writers in their own right and are happy to help everybody else out. So check them out.
They were giving, I don't know if it's still going on, but they were giving Whiskey, Wine, and Writing viewers a 10% discount, which...
Yeah, so if you want to just mention that we sent you over there, say, hey, you know, Nikki and Natasha sent us over, and, you know, see if they're still doing it. If they're not, we're sorry, but there's no harm in trying. So
yeah, if anyone ever tries to say, oh, hey, budding author, pay me money for X, Y, and Z, you tell them authors are poor until they get a book published. What are you trying to do?
Sure.
And even once the book is published, I'm probably still going to be poor.
Right, I was about to say, even once you get the book published, no guarantee there's lots of money coming in, people.
You have to do it for the love, guys.
Yeah, definitely do it for love. I've known I wanted to be, I think you actually did a Pitch Madness hashtag for this. I knew when. So let's answer that question, Nikki. When did you know you wanted to be a writer?
I wrote my first book when I was 3 years old.
You got me beat. I was 7.
It was called Animals. My second book was called My First Loose Tooth.
Aww.
But I ended up taking the journalism route first because I thought I didn't have the attention span to write a book. It took NaNoWriMo years later before I realized I had the capacity to write a book. So I actually followed the journalism route because I wanted to be Lois Lane all through elementary school and high school and stuff. And then because I interviewed people so much, my theater teacher in high school realized I could do dialogue very well, and so I started doing plays and had plays performed across the country for...
She's, you know, an award-winning playwright, guys, by the way. She's amazing.
Short plays. I have yet to have a full-length play out. They're very short ones, but I had like a monologue that I wrote in New York off-Broadway was what actually inspired my novel that got me my agent. But yeah, so I knew I wanted to be a writer early on. It just took me forever to figure out I wanted to write books and that I could write books. I didn't think I could. I thought I was too ADD and just did not have the brain capacity to write it. Because, I mean, journalism articles, it's like 1,200 words, sometimes 3,000 words, and you're like, bam, I'm done. Let me write it. What about you? So you said you were 7.
I was 7. I was the kid who kept 1,000,001 journals. Like, I still have boxes full of them. They were also full of poetry and songs that I wrote. So, yeah, I actually had people in high school, like my guy friends, they would pay me for my poems. They wanted to give it to their girlfriends, and they didn't know how to write poetry, and I had a lot of love poems at the time. So they were like, oh, my God, I love this one. I'll give you $5 for it. Okay. Sure. So, but the first story I wrote was at 7. It was on a piece of, or 2 pages of yellow legal pad, front and back, and it was called The Haunted House. My mom kept it. I still have it actually in a box. So, because my mom's a pack rat. So, hi Mom, you're probably watching. But yeah, so I knew from then. I just, you know, things happen in life, and you don't necessarily get to pursue things when you want to pursue them. But you know, I'm pursuing it now, and I'm happy to be. So I feel very lucky and very blessed to be where I'm at. So
I'm glad you're pursuing it too, because I mean, I need you.
I need you too. So
we do have a few more pitches, I think.
Yeah, I think we can get through a few more, and then, guys, I think we're gonna have to. It's already 10 o'clock.
I can't believe y'all watched us for this long, but
oh my gosh, you like us. You really, really like us. Now, $5 to anybody. No, I'm not gonna pay you $5, but 5 kudo points to anybody who can tell me where that's from.
But like we said earlier, this is the bonus show. Usually we only do once a week, and we've been transitioning it more to Mondays at 8 o'clock.
Sometimes we're trying to stick to Mondays.
Yeah, so check us out on Monday. We're having my Pitch Wars mentor, Rachel Solomon, and her CP, who's also my agent sister, Rachel Simon, come on. And Rachel Simon actually got her agent through PitMad, or her agent, our agent. But,
and actually, on that note, guys, I don't know if anybody remembers Sun vs. Snow when they said that one of the contestants had to pull out because they got an agent. Yeah, that was me. So I wound up having to pull out of there, and I had emailed Michelle, and I withdrew. I was like, I got an agent. At that point, I didn't even know if I made it into Sun vs. Snow. But it was really ironic because I did make it into Sun vs. Snow, and Nikki's agent sister, Rachel, would have been my mentor. It was just amazing how that would have worked out.
Which I think brings another point before we close for tonight, and it's something in all aspects of life. The world is a very small place. Mm-hmm. Who knew that my agent sister would have been her mentor? So it's, be nice to everyone, be on your best behavior, never be rude, avoid being snarky on the internet in a negative way. Like, the person you might be mad at later could be the one person you need their help on. So,
absolutely, yeah. Never ever blast people on Twitter, on social media. I mean, I see a lot of people do it, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do that. I see them do it for schools or for whatever, and for, because they're mad at car companies and stuff like that. I'm like, don't do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm the first person to tweet a company when their company does me wrong. I'll be like, is this how you treat your customers? But I'm not going to sit there and go cursing people out, because that looks really bad on you, and nobody's willing to help you out if you act like that.
Say no to being a troll.
So, absolutely.
And Ashley Hearn just said that she took journalism route because she wanted to be in sports writing. Lois Lane, yay, fellow Lois Lane lover. I understand.
On that note, I'm going to nerd out here. I thought it was really cool that DC made this, I think she was like an 11-year-old girl. She wrote them a letter saying, DC, why aren't more women superheroes, catching Superman? I want Wonder Woman to catch Superman for once. And why is Wonder Woman wearing a bathing suit and Batman has armor? She went all out on them, but in a very nice way. But she's this 11-year-old girl. She wants to see these female role models that are strong and that don't have to be in skimpy costumes, So they actually tweeted back to her and wrote her a letter and said, we're working on making more superheroes like that. And then they made her a superhero. That's really cool of them. So I just wanted to shout out to DC that I thought you were really cool for doing that. Not that anybody who works for DC is watching this, but way to go, DC Comics. That's an amazing thing to do for a little girl. Absolutely empowering and just amazing.
And since it is 10 o'clock, we probably should just wind down. Put your pitches on our website. We will get to them as we can. www.com, withkeepmindwriting.com. Obviously, I need to get off the air because I am just...
Yeah, we're kind of starting to ramble. If we didn't
But we did get a tweet from Joseph Miller that I thought should be read, honestly, because I think it's something we all should, use as a reminder is... I always keep in mind that Harry Potter got rejected 12 times, and many other bestsellers have similar rejection histories. And that's not even agents, that's publishers. So, I mean, it's a big rejection game. Keep on going.
I think Stephen King wrote, 13 novels or something before he got picked up. And the chick who wrote The Help, that became, a major motion picture and everything, she had 60-some-odd rejections for that book.
Yeah, and she actually was writing the ending during labor. I love that.
Yeah, so it's even the greatest writers of history were rejected. So don't think it's just you. It's part of the business. You got to build your skin. You got to find the critique partners who are going to build you up and be there when you're feeling down, and, know that it's not an attack against your character or anything like that. Writing is always improving. It's always learning. It's always getting better at it.
And worst case scenario, enter our raffle, and you'll get a mug or something, possibly pick me up, even if you're feeling sad on Monday, which we hope you do get good news on Monday. We always want our fellow authors to succeed.
Yes.
But
We love you, Pitch Madness entries. We love you. We support you. We'll be here for you Monday. Actually, I'll be on the road, and if I'm not driving, so I'll be on my phone trying to tweet. But oh, Catherine Mongatti, she goes, you really like me. Sally Field Oscar, acceptance speech for, I think, her role in Norma Ray. I believe it was Norma Ray, too, but 5 kudo points to Catherine. So that's amazing. Actually, you know what, Catherine? Email me at whiskeyblindwriting@gmail.com, and I'll throw in an extra career critique because you got that right. So go ahead, Catherine, and email me your query, and I'll get that back to you sometime this weekend.
Well, we've had a lot of fun with you guys tonight.
So we have had a blast. I do want to remind everybody that, so till 11, if you follow at Jen Blackwood, so at Jen_Blackwood, she is giving away a query critique as well. You have to follow her and hashtag us to let us know that you followed her. And at 11 o'clock, we'll do a random.org, and we will...
Just kidding. I'll stay up for you guys.
I'll do random.org, and then we will let Jen know who won. We'll let you know if you won, and so you'll get your query critiqued by a published amazing author.
And we will try to get to as many pitches. We said this before on our blog. Make sure you do it on the blog. We probably won't be able to do any Twitter ones. So if you did post on Twitter or in the chat feed here and we didn't see it, please just put it back onto our blog, and we will get to it as soon as we can, because we are always here and happy to help.
So absolutely amazing. You guys are just awesome, and thank you so much. Remember, just keep writing, write creatively, drink responsibly, put yourself out there in the writing world, meet people on Twitter and in Facebook, and research the agent you want, and just keep going for your dream.
Mm-hmm. And we'll always be here at whiskeyblindwriting.com every step of the way.
Absolutely. You guys have a most wonderful night, and we will see you Monday with the Rachels.
Bye.